Welcome back to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit, where we tear down the headlines and tune up your knowledge on the latest in automotive and industrial news. Today, we're shifting gears into the surprising aftermath of President Trump's decision to double tariffs on imported steel and aluminum to 50%. Announced on June 4, 2025, this seismic policy shift has rattled industries from bumper to tailpipe, and Coca-Cola, of all companies, has found itself squarely in the crosshairs. So, let's pop the hood on how these tariffs are shaking up Coca-Cola's operations, the broader supply chain, and the strategies the beverage giant is brewing up to keep its iconic cans rolling. The tariff shockwave, Coca-Cola's aluminum predicament. When President Trump signed off on a 50% tariff hike, he aimed to rev up America's domestic metal industries. But for Coca-Cola, which leans heavily on imported aluminum for its beverage cans, the news was more of a detonation than a boost. CEO James Quincy didn't hold back, pointing out that this sudden spike in aluminum costs threatens to pour cold water on Coca-Cola's operations and its consumers. The Can Manufacturers Institute was quick to back him up, warning that aluminum can costs would inevitably surge, driving up the price of canned drinks for American families. Quincy even floated the possibility of shifting to PET plastic bottles, a solution that could help keep costs in check, but at the risk of alienating environmentally conscious consumers and die-hard fans of the classic aluminum can. The message is clear. This tariff move has put Coca-Cola and plenty of other beverage makers on a collision course with higher production costs, supply chain turbulence, and a battle to hold on to market share. It's a high-stakes balancing act for a brand that's been a fixture in American fridges for generations. But Coca-Cola isn't alone in this struggle. The bigger picture is a supply chain crisis that's shaking up the entire industry. The aluminum supply chain, a tangled mess. Coca-Cola's scramble reveals a bigger problem. America's aluminum supply chain is a delicate, high-revving machine. In 2023, about 44% of the U.S. aluminum supply came from imports, with Canada in pole position as the top supplier. Now, with tariffs slapped on like a governor restricting top speed, companies across the beverage sector are bracing for a bumpy ride. These tariffs don't just hike up prices. They threaten the very availability of aluminum cans themselves. The Can Manufacturers Institute is already warning that shoppers can expect more expensive canned goods, while the Aluminum Association notes that even if every idled U.S. smelter fired up tomorrow, it wouldn't meet America's growing aluminum appetite. This supply chain shakeup forces Coca-Cola to weigh tough choices. Do they lean into plastic or glass alternatives? How do they keep loyal customers from jumping ship? It's a tightrope walk, and the answer will have implications far beyond soda echoing across every industry that depends on this critical metal. Before we dive deeper, why not smash that like and subscribe button? It fuels our channel and keeps these deep dives coming your way. Now let's steer into how Coca-Cola is shifting gears to tackle this aluminum crunch. Strategic responses. Coca-Cola's adaptive playbook. Faced with this aluminum crunch, Coca-Cola isn't just coasting in neutral. CEO James Quincy has been candid. If aluminum prices keep climbing, PET plastic bottles could see more action in Coca-Cola's lineup. But that pivot comes with its own trade-offs: environmental concerns, brand loyalty, and significant supply chain retooling. Coca-Cola is also carefully considering price hikes. After all, past experiences show that even modest increases can leave a sour taste with consumers. The brand knows that balancing the bottom line and consumer satisfaction is more important than ever, and it's walking a fine line to make sure it doesn't spin out. Beyond packaging tweaks, Coca-Cola has been knocking on Washington's door, seeking exemptions or relief from the tariff burden. They argue that these policies are doing more harm than good to American businesses. But the Trump administration isn't backing down, maintaining that these tariffs are vital for domestic security and industry. This evolving playbook isn't just about Coca-Cola's survival. It's a case study in resilience and strategy, and it's one that will shape how other companies navigate these uncharted trade policy waters. And as Coca-Cola maneuvers, other players across the industry are also strategizing. which brings us to the broader impact. Ripple effects across the industry, a broader impact. The 50% tariffs on imported steel and aluminum aren't just causing headaches for Coca-Cola. They're reverberating throughout industries that rely on these metals. In the beverage world, craft breweries are already feeling the pinch. With smaller budgets and less buying power, they're facing a tough choice: absorb higher aluminum can costs or pass them on to beer drinkers. Meanwhile, food manufacturers like Campbell's are also bracing for a financial squeeze. It's not just about aluminum cans. Imported materials and other packaging essentials are also getting pricier. The Can Manufacturers Institute has warned that shoppers should expect to see these extra costs showing up on grocery store shelves soon. And even if the US aluminum industry went full throttle and restarted every idle smelter, the Aluminum Association says it still wouldn't meet demand. It's a stark reminder that protectionist policies can have unintended side effects. The reality is clear. Global supply chains are more interconnected than ever, and tariffs don't always boost domestic industries without causing collateral damage. For these businesses, the future is about finding ways to adapt quickly. And for consumers, it's about preparing for a ripple effect that could touch every shopping cart and paycheck. These ripple effects highlight just how connected our global supply chains are and lead us into the political landscape that's shaping this turbulent ride. Political turbulence, charting a bumpy road ahead. President Trump and his administration argue that these tariffs are vital for national security and a stronger American industry. But this tough talk has triggered strong reactions at home and abroad. Key trade partners like Canada and Mexico are calling out the tariffs as a threat to stable trade relationships. In Europe, the EU is hinting at retaliatory measures if a deal isn't reached soon, adding another layer of complexity to an already challenging situation. Back home, industry leaders and economists are raising red flags. A Federal Reserve study on earlier steel tariffs found that they didn't just boost costs for companies, they actually cut jobs in the manufacturing sector. Now, with tariffs doubling, the fear is that even more jobs and industries could feel the squeeze. For Coca-Cola and other firms caught in the crossfire, these policies mean navigating a constantly shifting landscape. The long-term impacts on the economy, international relations, and even what ends up on grocery shelves remain to be seen. The road ahead, staying in the driver's seat. As we wrap up here at your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit, one thing's clear: this tariff turbulence is rewriting the rulebook for American industries. Coca-Cola's scramble to shift packaging strategies is just one example of the creativity and grit needed to survive in these unpredictable times. But it's not just about Coca-Cola. It's about how businesses big and small, and even consumers, adapt to a world where trade policy can shift overnight and prices can jump just as fast. Now we're curious to hear from you. Do you think these tariffs will truly strengthen American industry, or will they hurt businesses and consumers more? How do you see smaller players like craft brewers adapting compared to giants like Coca-Cola? And do you think the shift to alternatives like plastic packaging is the way forward? Or does it come with its own set of headaches? Drop your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insights fuel the conversation here at Piston Pundit. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to the channel to get notified about our next updates and upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep your curiosity in overdrive. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's plenty more to explore.